Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elena, and for today's video, this is a part 2 of life without my parents. I want to thank you guys all for the love and the support that you've shown me on Facebook, on YouTube. Super supportive. It was definitely not easy creating this video. We're going into a part 2. So before we get started and we talk about the conversation we're having to do with the loss of someone, I do want to share that there is resources out there that can help you if you're going through a grieving process of a loss of a loved one, depression. I know of this organization that is in New Jersey, and right now they're offering virtual services. So if you aren't in New Jersey, no worries. All their services are all online. It's the Youth Clinic. And I'm going to be looking at my notes here, right here. It's the Youth Development Clinic in New Jersey. They're located in Newark, New Jersey. They're not globally, but since they're all online, you can access through them online. They have people that speak bilingual in Portuguese, English, and in Spanish. So, para las personas que están ahorita en momentos difíciles, que perdieron a alguien que ama, sus seres queridos, en estos momentos son difíciles y no hay recursos en tu área. Hay uno en Newark, New Jersey, pero ahorita están haciendo los servicios online. So, hablan español, portugués y en inglés. All the sessions that they do is confidential. So, todas las sesiones son privados. Tu información no va a estar ahí afuera. Y son para los niños de a 3 adultos y familias. So, as young as 3 years old, adults and families. Again, they do accept Medicaid, or DCPP contract services. And for the people that don't have insurance, they do have a grant, so that will help cover costs. So si no tienen seguranza, también tienen un grant que puede cubrir los gastos para que sepan los demás. So si necesitas ayuda, if you're looking for help, mental health, you're going through a grieving process, I wanted to provide this resource for you guys to check it out, okay? So again, you're never alone. You might feel like you're alone, but you're never truly alone. So I'll put down their information down in the description below so you guys have access to it. La información va a estar abajo. Like the last time, we are going to have a goalie gummy. I just ate, so it's good to have after you're done eating. If you ever have an upset stomach, they're good to have. I love these things. They're definitely sweet though, and a little bit of like sour in the end. And I'm gonna have some tea, so I'm gonna pour some tea. Today's tea, I'm having a manzanita. Since it's late, I don't want to have anything like with too much caffeine. So last thing that we talked about. So the last thing, it cut me off. The last thing that I talked about was, you know, starting a family and how would it feel. And my life without my parents with the starting a family is very conflicted right now. I see how it's like a missing piece for my siblings and for my nieces and nephews, and it definitely has me question, you know, am I strong enough as my sisters, which I don't say it a lot to them, but they're really strong, and I admire them for being good mothers that, you know, they don't have the support like other people. You know, let me call mom, let me call dad to help me with something with the kids. You know, raising kids is definitely a challenge from what I've seen. And, you know, you have those questions, right? So I know with my sister, I can't speak for her, but like I think about me and I'm like, I do have a fear of having kids because of that reason, because I don't have someone to just like call like him, hey, you know, can you help me with this? Or how do you know this? Like, but I mean, luckily I have my sisters to do that, but it's a different feeling, you know, it's not a feeling of like, yeah, like you have your grandparents, you don't, like, I don't know. I can't speak for my nieces and nephews, but I know and I have witnessed that even though they don't know them, they talk about how they miss them, how they wish they were in their lives. And I totally feel like not a pain, but like a sort of like empathy, feeling sorry for them because they didn't get the opportunity to meet them, and they don't have that opportunity to be like, oh, grandpa, grandma, pick me up, or we want to go out to do something with grandma and grandpa. They don't have that. So it's definitely a fearful thing for me to have, thinking about starting a family and not having that actual support. And I know people will say, but you have this or you have this person. Like, it's still not the same thing. And again, I'm not going through it yet, but I just know from what I witnessed with my siblings is not the same thing. So, it was definitely difficult. I really didn't get much into details back then of like, it's hard. I said it was hard because it is. It is hard. I didn't get much into details, but today I do want to talk about just a couple things without like saying so much information, but just sharing that during the time where I had to handle losing them and you're a teenager, becoming an adult, and then you're a young adult, becoming a woman. During that time, I went through a lot of things that, like, you can imagine as a teenager, you want to go to college, or you have your first boyfriend, or you want to go away, you want to do certain things. And I definitely hit a lot of road bumps, again, without really like sharing so much, but like I went through a lot of road bumps that on top of what I was going through without my parents, it made it kind of like a double like hit and a double struggle. So it wasn't really easy for me. I kind of wanted to do this in Spanish and English, but I'm gonna stick to just doing it in English just because there's certain words I can't express myself in Spanish, and English is the words that I can express myself more. So maybe in the future, when I can express myself a little bit more, I'll do it in Spanish. Maybe have some Spanish here and sharing with you guys. But yeah, I was able to graduate high school. That was one thing my parents really instilled in us, was graduating high school. And I talked at my graduation, I talked about how like the struggles, like, I was a freshman and I lost my parents as a freshman in high school, and how I finally been able to accomplish this. And like, it definitely, I was happy, I had tears of joy, but like, it's like, what's next, And I was able to accomplish, finishing, getting my bachelor's degree, but that definitely took a little longer than anticipated. And I had a lot of stuff going on between. I was struggling with a lot of, depression, suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And that was a certain time period of my life where I was in a really, really bad place. I didn't share as much. I shared a good amount, but I didn't really share as much. Like, I was going through other stuff, and then I felt like, what's the point? What is the point to be here, and blah, blah, and this is that. Like I said before, there is resources out there if you ever feel like you're in a position that you want to take your life. There's resources out there, and it's not worth it. Like, it definitely isn't. When you're stuck alone, and alone, I mean, as far as like your mental thoughts, it can be hard, to kind of like not keep those thoughts in your head. But when you have that support where you can talk to someone, definitely do that. Like, you might think like people don't care, but there's people that care about you. I know for me personally, I had cousins, I had my sisters, I had people I can talk to, but I always felt like I was annoying them. I felt like I was annoying them. So there's times I wouldn't say anything because I was fearful of judgment. And it's awesome to have, organizations and resources out there that you can actually talk to them without that fear of judgment or I am annoying somebody. But that was one of my struggles. Life without my parents was that journey of my life and it was because of other things going on too, that I didn't want to live. I'm glad that I decided I wanted to live, and I didn't go through I didn't go through certain actions to do this, I chose the path to that things are going to get better, and it's just going to take time. And even though right now I'm currently going through really bad hardships with having to do with just not super super bad, but like hardships mentally and stuff, I still have that positive mind that things are going to get better, and I can't allow myself to get into that deep space, because if I do, then that is only going to be in a bad road. So it's important to keep going that direction that you want, right? Life without my parents has been a rocky road. It hasn't been easy. Even though I had that mentality of like actually that was my mentality, and it still is, but I'm kind of lost in that mentality. So my mentality was, once everything happened, my mentality is like, okay, you're going to do this for your parents. You're going to do this for your dad. They wanted you to finish school. They wanted you to have a better life. You're going to do this for them. And that was my mentality. And I pushed through, even though with the whole bunch of like rocky roads that I was going through my journey after my parents, like I still pushed through, and I ended up finishing school. But after I finished school, I felt, and I still feel, lost, because they wanted something for me. And, as an immigrant family, you come to this country for a better life and get a degree, get a good job, and that's set, right? I already hit to that point. It's like, okay, I graduated, I had a job, and now I'm struggling trying to find a new one. And I feel lost, like, mom, dad, like, what's next? I don't have that what's next, right? So I do feel like I hit a wall. So I'm trying to, like, even though I don't know what their words would say, I know that as long as I'm happy and they want me to feel happy, and whatever success means to me, they'll be happy. So I do keep that in mind. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy when you're already, I'm close to my 30s. When you're going to your 30s now, you're just like, what have I done with life? I've definitely hit that point right now. It's like, okay, Elena, what's next? So it hasn't been easy on that part. I know that I've had different challenges without them. And a lot of people say, oh, you're so strong, and this, that. And looking back, like, I kid you not, like, looking back, damn, wow. Like, I don't even know how I managed to continue life, to be honest with you. I think we'll talk about it in a different video. Or I don't know. But I found a journal of mine when I was 14, after everything happened. One of the things that helped me a lot was journaling. I felt sort of comfort. I felt a way of letting things out and letting them just like be free. Sorry, I'm kind of showing too much here. And I found my outlet, right? And I opened that journal up a couple of days ago. And there was a lot of things in there that it's not that I don't remember, but I have it like in the back of my head. Like, I don't think about that stuff. My healing and the time of moving forward with time and so on, I've healed from that, right? So I'm looking back and I'm reading my hurt, my pain, the feelings, the moments, and it wasn't easy reading those words, the words that were my words that what I saw, what I felt. The little girl that was writing in this book went through so much, and damn, I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. I I look back and I'm just like, wow, like wow. When you read those words of your trauma, of of the incident, and now almost gonna be 14 years later, I take a moment and I'm just like, you are a strong human being. Even though anytime someone says that to me, I'm like, yeah, I guess. Right? But after reading my journal, and I couldn't go through all of it, I only read a little bit of it because it was hard. It's not because I'm not healed. It's just that going back is kind of like that. It's hitting you going back and remembering the things that you went through. So it does hit you and it hurts, reading the stuff you went through. But when I think about it, and one of my dear friends, my mama, Mary Lou, when she mentioned about like, it hurt a little bit hearing my words, but after knowing how much I've grown, like she finds comfort. And like after I read certain things in my journal, like I really did, it did hurt me. But looking at it now and feeling how it is now, like I find it comforting. And I'm just like, wow, I am a survivor. I'm a survivor of life. I made it through. I'm still trying to make it through because my life isn't perfect, and at least I'm not where I want to be, right? So I look back at it and I'm just like, you've gone through so much as a young child and you pushed through. You can still push through as an adult. You can still push through even though you feel lost, even though you don't have that privilege to just grab the phone, call your mom and dad and say, hey, I need help, or hey, like I want to just come and visit you and see you. So I do want to share that I found it super comforting, journaling after this whole incident and so on. I haven't really journaled like I used to. There was a time where I kind of stopped doing it, to be honest, but lately I haven't done it, but I definitely found it very comforting sharing. But I know my journey of like what happened and my life without my parents from 14 to an adult, even though it's been struggles, even though it's been roadblocks, toss and turns. Like I admire the little girl that went through so much. I admire the heartache, the hurt that she went through, and I'm gonna continue to be strong even though there's days where I'm not strong. And I think it's normal. You shouldn't always have that like, I'm gonna be strong today, I'm gonna be strong today. No, like if you're strong today and you're gonna continue. But if there's days that are just not good, like let those days be, and it is what it is. So my life has definitely been a journey without my parents, that's for sure. There's so much more that I wish I can share, maybe in due time. Like I said, after a decade now, I decided to actually talk about this more in depth, maybe to help those that are currently going through something, to let you guys, to have that inspiration that you can make it through, even if you lose something dearly in your life, even when you feel like you don't have that 100 support, which I'm thankful I did have a certain amount of support. But the whole support with your parents is a whole different scenario. What when it has to do with someone else, even though I definitely am blessed to have certain people in my life that allowed me to get to where I am today, for sure. That is for sure. Another thing I do want to like kind of enclose with, when I had to deal with the end of the journey with my parents, it wasn't easy for me because I didn't get that goodbye. you know? And I think all of us that go through our lives without our parents, like that is one thing that definitely hurts us really like to the core. Why? Because you want to be able to say those words like knowingly that, okay, like, you know, we're gonna be fine, you know. I didn't get to say those words, and that was one thing that definitely was hard when moving forward. And on my bad days, I do think about it, and I'm like, I wish I could have said goodbye. I wish I didn't have my last images of them. Those images I wish I didn't have. I wish I had other images of them smiling, you know, of them just, you know, everything's gonna be okay. Like my images weren't the prettiest images, you know. I find it comforting that I got to see them before they passed away, but I don't find it comforting because of seeing them but not seeing them come out. So that's one thing that I would have to say. Life without your parents, without saying goodbye, is definitely not easy, and you have to learn to be okay with that, and you have to learn to create an image that you wish you could say goodbye. And that's one thing that I was able to say goodbye to them, and, you know, with their caskets, say goodbye to them. And after how many years later, really bad at years, but after 4 to 5 years later, I want to say 4 or 5 years later, I got to say goodbye to them at where they're buried, because I didn't get to go to see them. So I got to have the opportunity to say goodbye once more. So you have the choice to create an image of how you want to say goodbye. And I think it's great that you can have that choice and that ability to do that. So I did want to share that one last thing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, find it comforting, and also please, again, if you're struggling or if you're going through hardships, be sure to look for resources. I will have a resource down below for you guys. Again, I have interacted with them. They sound pretty amazing. The person that I talked to, definitely people that you want that help, there is out there. So be sure to check them out. Know that you're not alone, and that together we have to get through this. Together, I have to like get through this and the hardships. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, until next time, I do plan on sharing a little bit more in depth of my grieving process with you guys. So be sure to stay subscribed to my channel. Until next time. Bye guys.